Olympic stuff as they want to. So this is, I'm hoping this is coming through loud and clear on the stream test. So it's Matt Cole, Ben Watts and Kevin James. It's the threatening threesome, as they call them, the terrific trio. Brilliant, thank you very much. Well, welcome to the county ground, Beckenham. Kent against Hampshire in the one-day cup. And yes, cricket is breaking out, as I like to say. I'm Matt Cole with Kevin James, and Ben Watts will be taking you through 27 overs aside now. This game reduced here in the one-day cup between these two sides. Hampshire have won the toss. They've decided to bowl first, bat second. Doesn't look like a bad call, that either, because we've had a lot of rain here already today, and obviously possibility of more showers across the whole country, let alone just the county. So it'll be the opening partnership of Ollie Robinson and Tawanda Mayeye for Kent, and Hampshire bowling first. Joined now by Kevin James. Kevin, obviously there's something on this match for both sides. Kent, well, we'll go into this into more detail, with now average points per game probably pretty much out of the quarterfinals, but for Hampshire pretty much must win.
Well, yeah, I mean they sit in sixth with 5 points, a couple of teams above them in Worcestershire and Gloucestershire with 6, so yeah, with 2 games to go, if they can win both, I mean there's half a chance, but as we've already known with this season, with the T20 and the Championship, Hampshire leave it until very late, so mathematically there is a chance.
So they will get underway now with Kyle Abbott bowling to Ollie Robinson. Just a little nudge into the offside, fielded at point. Sharp throw comes in to the wicketkeeper. No Lewis McManus. It's Tom Alsop who's keeping wicket. McManus is not in because of concussion protocols, is that right?
That's right, yeah, they were talking about it this morning, that he got hit on the helmet with a wayward throw while he was batting at Gloucestershire on Friday, and yeah, he's subject to the concussion protocols, so not available.
Kyle Abbott to bowling from this town end now to Robinson. Shot into the offside, beats the fielder at point, and they'll come back for 2. Fielder running out to it in the deep is Nick Gubbins, comes back in, and they'll take their first 2 runs of this game then. Ollie Robinson, who I think by his own standards would have expected to have at least a half century on the board so far for Kent this summer. He's been opening all the way through the one-day cup. Hasn't exactly covered himself in glory. And Tawanda Mayeye, who's made 3 very attractive 20s, but very young batsman as well in the early part of his career. Oh, thickish outside edge, and that'll go down towards third man, and a single from Robinson. Pushing forward there, very thick though, and along the ground as well, so even if even gone wide of the slip that there is there, so second or third slip line. The outfielders, it's about a deep square leg and that deep third man as well. Just 2 allowed outside the circle, we're told, for the first 6 overs of this 27 over side contest. So Abbott back to his mark. Tall, broad South African bowling to Mayeye, leaves it outside the off stump through to wicketkeeper Alsop, and there is no run. So you're listening to BBC Radio Kent and BBC Radio Solent with Matt Cole, Kevin James and Ben Watts in rotation this afternoon. And from when I arrived before 9 this morning, I'd have to say that a pretty persistent rain, and quite surprised to have any action at all. But we have got ourselves a game here, and that's very much what Hampshire need, and what these fans need as well. Very patient through the day. Abbott bowling to Mayeye, chops it past his stumps through to the wicketkeeper. Good take by Alsop, but inside edge by Mayeye definitely flashing at it. 1 ball to come of this over, 3 for none. The Kent Spitfires. A few players, I suppose, for supporters of both sides who won't be immediately familiar. Tawanda Mayeye will probably be one of those as well, out of Eastbourne College. So he was at school last year, was Wisden School Cricket of the Year 2020. Attacking top order batsman. Perhaps has played more cricket than he expected with injuries and various COVID isolations for Kent as well. Pushes that into the offside defensively. End of the over, 3 for no wicket from that first over from Kyle Abbott. I'll run you through the Kent side right now, and I'm sure Kevin will do the same for Hampshire. So Kent with Robinson and Mayeye opening, it'll be Finch at 3, Leaning at 4, Stevens at 5, Joe Gordon making his debut for Kent, the young batsman, at 6, Grant Stewart, then Harry Podmore, Nathan Gilchrist and Matt Quinn make up the 11 for Kent, and Kevin for Hampshire, they're 11 today.
They are. The man who's just about to bowl now, John Turner, but higher up than him because he bats at number 11. Allsop, who's keeping wicket because Lewis McManus is subject to concussion protocol, as I mentioned earlier. So Tom Allsop, Tom Prest, Nick Gubbins, Joe Weatherly, Ian Holland, and then the batters will start to move up because of McManus's absence. Here's Turner to bowl the first ball to Robinson. It's back, wraps him on the top of the pad, and there is no run. So James Fuller will move up the order. Felix Organ, Tom Scriven, Scott Curry, the all-rounder, back in the side after a little niggle. He's missed the last couple of games or so. Scriven had taken his place, but both keep their places. Well, Scriven keeps his place. Curry back in the side, and then it's captain Kyle Abbott, and the man bowling now, John Turner, who runs towards us. He's got a slip. That's Joe Weatherly. Bowls, it's full, it's driven by Ollie Robinson, square on the offsides, going up the hill here at Beckenham, away to our right, and he's going to be pulled up just in front of the rope. Who's that there? That is Tom Prest, doing a great job there. In fact, I thought, as he was trying to push that back, it was going to go over the rope, go the wrong way, but he managed to.
It was a great second effort, actually, wasn't it? I thought he's going to just knock it onto the rope here, but yeah, good dive there.
Yeah, umpires are just checking, actually, that it didn't go over the rope. Tom Prest is saying, I don't know. I wasn't in a great position to tell. My eye was on the ball.
I was going to say, his eye was on the ball. His nose was more or less in the grass at that point.
So 6 without loss, and all 6 of those to Ollie Robinson. You mentioned Mweye. It's an interesting story as well, isn't it? Because is he... his family fled Zimbabwe.
They did indeed, yeah. So claiming asylum in Great Britain, and and living in Kent now.
Yeah, here's Turner bowls. Oh, he's gone big there over mid-off. That's a lovely shot. Wow, has that gone all the way? It's plugged a little bit in the outfield, but it's gone over the rope now. Wow, lovely intent there.
Yeah. He's, as I said, it sounds like I'm damning him with faint praise, but he's made, I think, 3 really attractive 20-somethings. He hits the ball tremendously well. Hit 1-6 against Essex at Chelmsford over the stand at Cow Corner with almost no backlift as well. He's that kind of player. He's got amazing timing, but hasn't taken it on to a bigger score as yet.
Only 20 years of age. Here's Turner, bowls, and he's playing that on the up out into the covers, fielded an extra cover by Nick Gubbins.
I don't want to be judgmental on him because he's played a handful of games and he's just come out of schools cricket basically. He's probably, as I said, played more than he would have expected to now for various, and very obvious reasons through the summer.
Well, Kent have done excellently to get starting 11s out, haven't they? They've been hard hit by COVID, haven't they? Here's Turner again, right arm over, bowls full. It's driven, and it's hit the stumps. It's hit the middle stump at the bowler's end, knocked it out of the ground, but they'll come through for a single. Got fast hands, hasn't he?
Really fast, yeah.
Fast hands.
I was saying with that one shot at Essex, I mean, he hit a number of crashing 4s as well, but just really quick through the ball. Looks like he's got a fantastic eye and great technique as well. But it almost feels a bit unfair to say he hasn't taken it on yet. I mean, he's very, very young in cricketing terms. So
looks a confident young man out there. I know he's declared his allegiance to England, doesn't he? He wants to play Test cricket for England. If he gets that far. Here's Turner, bowls to Robinson, length ball. Robinson leans into that. Beautiful shot through the covers. That's going for 4. Just leant into that, didn't try and hit it too hard. It's come out of the meat of the bat. It's always a good wicket here, I always think, at Beckenham for that sort of shot. Love those sort of shots here. If you're a batter, that is just what you want to feel, the ball onto the bat like that.
Yeah, Beckenham is known for its runs, isn't it? And pretty much, well, I would say a road, but Hampshire will need to exploit everything they can out of this new ball in terms of movement to try and get these early wickets. But to be frank, one-day games, T20 games, fans love to see loads of runs and 6s flying into the stands, don't they? Yeah. So it's ideal for that. But yeah, they can have full confidence in the pitch. I think we've seen that from both batsmen so far. And a beautifully timed shot there from Robinson. 15 for none then off 2 overs. 10 for Robinson, 5 for Mweye so far. Faces Kyle Abbott, who will certainly test him. Bowls now, the experienced South African, just to whip that through the offside. It's ended up at cover. He is looking like he's going to smash the ball off every cover off every ball here to Mweye. But
I'm loving him already. I really am. I'm in love with him.
It's Paul Newton at Essex was exactly the same watching him. It's like, whatever happens in this game, whether Essex win or not, and obviously he follows Essex around, I'm really enjoying this. He is, he's very quickly becoming box office. Let's hope he sticks around for a bit from a Ken point of view. Ooh, bat and pad. Look more like just pad to me. A little bit of inside edge.
Probably.
Just outside the off stump. judging from the fact that the calls are a bit stifled, we're more or less at long on to Wandamiyayi here, which is not ideal for LBW course. And actually, we're in a bit of a shooting gallery as well. I should warn, warn all of us, yeah.
Oh.
But you're a former cricketer, and Ben plays cricket now at a good standard as well. So, as I always say, I'll be ducking. So it's up to you guys if you want to fend the ball off.
I'll be ducking behind you.
is Abbott then to bowl to Muyeye, little glance down for 4 runs, and again we've seen from him just in cameos that he plays 360 as well. That's no accident, that glance. He goes on to 19 for none. Kent in the 3rd.
Don't forget you can pick us up on the BBC Sports website and app,
Absolutely.
but we're also on the live picture feed. So
We
you've
are
got our
indeed, yeah.
commentary with the live
Yeah.
pictures. Wow.
Yeah. So whatever we do on commentary, you have got pictures with it. So you know you've got that to console you at least. What am I saying? High quality with Kevin James in the box.
Everybody and Ben. Everybody.
It's very kind of you. Here's Abbott then, right arm over the wicket, charging into a Muyeye, straight back over the bowler's head. He hasn't quite got all of that, but he's not lacking in aggression. He'll get was he watching that one? Did he get just the 1 for that? Or was it 3? Did they run 3?
The scoreboard has gone up to 20.
I think they just got the 1. I think he was standing and admiring that.
You're right, it was only one, yeah.
So it did plug, and Fielder whipped it back in. So they just got the 1. We were admiring the shot, I think.
Well,
he was admiring it.
I can't believe he actually played it, because that was nowhere near in the slot to hit over the top.
He's nothing if not aggressive. Here is Abbott to Robinson, very much more circumspect, which actually is saying quite something, because Ollie Robinson is not afraid of attacking either, but he defends that one. 20 for none in the 3rd here, 10 to each batsman. Already having fun with Wandamiyayi. It's I've talked to Ollie Robinson about him after that Essex innings, and he said, well, it's a bit of a cliche. He does that all the time in training, but he said there's a lot to come. Basically, he's a bit special. But Robinson batting now himself. He'd love a score. Is Abbott, rising delivery outside the off stump and through the wicketkeeper. Lovely finish from Kyle Abbott, as you'd expect from the tall South African pace bowler. Outside the off stump, no real chance for Ollie Robinson. Play and a miss, but it was rising away from him as well. 10 to each batsman. We're through 3 here on BBC Radio Kent, BBC Radio Southern. 24 no wicket. Kent, Hampshire won the toss and elected to bowl first. 27 overs aside here after morning rain.
I've got a couple of tweets to read out here. I know BBC Kent have their own tweets.
We do indeed, at BBC Kent Sport.
Right, these will come to at Solent Sport, so they're mine. Joe says, a shame to hear about Lewis McManus. Hope he's okay. I think he is. We were just chatting about it this morning about the protocol situation. Turner bowls. Malay tries to play that very late, but actually so late that it's gone through to the keeper. Good luck to Tom Alsop with the gloves today. It's the first time Tom Alsop's kept for Hampshire for quite a while. It was a straight shootout between him and Lewis McManus a couple of seasons or so ago, and in the end Lewis McManus got the job full time, but Tom Alsop's no slouch behind the stumps. He knows what he's doing. Here's Turner running towards us, bowls to Muyeye, and he's just stopped. I think it was a gust of wind there. Paul Williams at Solent Sports says, I know he's in Portugal, so he says, so our lunch of octopus salad at the River Beach will be over just in time to listen to the commentary. Too hot for cricket. Not quite like that here.
Don't like those kind of tweets, to be honest.
What, octopus salad?
No, just mentioning
like
how
that?
lovely that weather is.
Yeah.
Just makes me a bit grumpy and jealous.
Turner bowls. Muyeye plays that out to point, fielded by Weatherly.
But what could be better than watching cricket at Beckenham? Not much.
Well, I mean, sure I can think of a few things, but I mean, it's not the worst. It's not the worst being here.
I think a lot of people have been put off octopus salad by that film on the Netflix, haven't they?
Have they?
There's a, yeah. Is it called My Octopus Teacher, about just how sophisticated, incredible creatures octopuses are? Anyway,
Really?
octopi.
Well, you're not eating it live. That's outside off stump, but he's played a miss there, trying to cut that one down to third man. As long as the thing's dead before you eat it, you're all right.
Well, there we go.
Have you had octopus before?
Yeah, I have to be.
Have you?
Yeah.
Ooh, do they have that down in Tunbridge Wells? I suppose they do. They have that in bucket loads, don't they?
That's what we have on. Yeah, we can't be bothered to cook kind of night. Yeah, just grill up some octopus.
Here's Turner. Bowles to Mieye, drives up towards mid-off. They'll take a single. Mid-off's quite deep. That will add a single to the Kent total. 21 without loss. Mieye moves on to 11. And remember, it's 27 overs beside. The first power play is up to over number 6, where only 2 men are allowed outside the 30-yard circle.
You know what it's like in Tunbridge Wells. I mean, Cook only gets 1 day off this now. I think you have to, so we have to cook for ourselves.
Okay. Turner Bowles, and that's a nice stroke off the back foot from Robinson. Beautifully timed. Played a couple of nice shots, one off the front foot and now one off the back foot. Robinson, and he's got 4 both times.
Yeah, nice shot from Ollie Robinson. As I said, I think he'll be frustrated with his own form at the top of the order. He's captained the side a few times because Jack Leaning has been doing the hokey cokey almost, in and out, because he was couldn't play the first couple of games because of COVID. Then he was drafted into the Trent Rockets 100 squad.
Oh, and again, Turner was just about to let the ball go and just held on to it as he went through his action. Again, I can only imagine there's a bit of breeze out there. Just looking at some of the trees, it looks like he's running into the breeze. You mentioned about Robinson's performances in this competition, averaging only 10 coming into this game.
Yeah, he's a very good young batsman.
Oh, he is.
Better than that.
Here comes Turner again. That's a nice push drive up to mid-on, but there's no gap. And that will be the end of the over. 4 overs gone here. We got underway at 2:30. And Kent are 25 without loss.
Yeah, decent over that one, wasn't it, from Hampshire, just 5 off it. And yeah, I think Robinson, as I said, will be disappointed. He's loved taking the responsibility of captaining the side, really enjoyed that, but he's played much better than that in the county championship this year. Found himself out of the T20 side when Sam Billings came back into it, and Zach Crawley as well, but really promising. Great with the gloves as well. Another one off the conveyor belt, as we like to say at Kent, in terms of wicketkeeper batsmen. They've got plenty.
Big tradition down here. Wicketkeeper. We were talking to one former one, weren't we, just now?
Oh, indeed.
Paul
Downton, director of cricket. Kyle Abbott from the Beckenham end, the town end now. Bowls to Mieye, takes this one off just over the man at cover. He's not really timed that, not got through the shot, but it's gone through for 2. I think he just held that shot up. I think he was going to go at full bore into a sort of cover drive into the offside, just held it, and it's only just disappeared over the head of the man inside the circle at cover, but he's got himself 2. At the moment, he's getting a little bit of luck, I would say, with these. 13 not out, 27 for none.
Yeah, it's a little punch shot, isn't it, really? I mean, it didn't quite come out of the middle of the bat. Those punch shots are fine as long as they come out in the middle. Otherwise, you're keeping the fielder interested.
He's not quite timing it. Here's Abbott to him now. Flicked off his pad. As it comes straight off the pad, it'll certainly go to the boundary. Yeah, it's come off bat, so 4 more to Mieye. He moves on to 17. Is it 2 of those glances now? Almost like free runs, I suppose, if you're straying down that way, but he's going at quite a pace, Kyle Abbott, so it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. 17 for Mieye, 14 for Robinson. It's Jack Leaning who's captaining the side once again for Kent. There without Hanakun, who has a groin injury. George Munsey, who has a hand injury keeping out of this one, has played so well, the Scotsman, for the Spitfires during this one-day cut. No James Logan either. Marcus O'Riordan is out. This one's up in the air again. It's carved through the offside. It's high up on the bat. It's going to go for another 2. We will say they're going to come back for 3, in fact, with the throw. What he will say for Mieye is he is flashing hard when he flashes. He's on to 20, and the score on to 34 for none. And Marcus O'Riordan is out as well. And I am remiss of me, I'm not sure what Marcus O'Riordan's injury is. I know he was out of concussion protocols in the second half of the game against Middlesex, but he's not made this one. It's a hamstring. Thank you, Ben Watts. Here's Abbott bowls to Robinson, defended back up the pitch at the bowler, and there's no run. But they've taken 11 off this over so far already, have they? No, just 9. I think 1 to come from Kyle Abbott here on BBC Radio Kent and BBC Radio Salem. It's Matt Cole, Ben Watts, and Kevin James beside me right now. Kester, our good friend Kester, on the emails, kentcricket@gmail.com. Hooray, he says, we have cricket, and I can hear you. Well, the blessings never stop, Kester. says, here's Abbott, that was my addition by the way, into the offside, fielded at cover, no run. He says, I don't know what happened last go. I know Kes had some problems getting in touch with us or getting the commentary last time. Said, very good to hear from you. And the Hampshire man too. He knows that's Kevin James now. He's remembered. Wish you a great rain-free afternoon and a Kent victory, says Kester, who's in Hungary. One of our regulars. And welcome to all of you. Do get in touch. KentCricket@gmail.com. At Solent Sport on Twitter. At BBC Kent Sport on Twitter. Abbott to Robinson. He's steered that down to third man and under enough control. It's a single. Perhaps a little bit more outside of the bat than he'd like, but a couple of bounces down for the man there. Absolutely safe. He takes a single and the strike. It's 35 for none. Kent Spitfires off 5 overs. So they're going at 7 over, even with my maths. 20 for Mayeye at the other end, who's been exciting so far. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, it certainly has. Both these sides, as Matt was mentioning earlier, well, first of all, they're not in great form in this competition. I mean, do either of them deserve to go through to the quarterfinals? I'm not sure, but Hampshire still have a glimmer of hope, sitting in 6th with 5 points, so they can get to 9 with 2 more games left, including this one. They go up to Durham on Thursday. I don't fancy going all the way up to Durham with nothing on that. So obviously I'm rooting for Hampshire, because otherwise that's a long way to go for a dead game. Here comes Turner bowling to Robinson. Robinson's playing outside the off stump, trying to work that away down towards backward point. Misses. Goes through to the keeper, Tom Alsop. Kent sit at bottom, equal number of points with Sussex. Kent, well, your first win, wasn't it, against Middlesex at Radlett in the last game? Other than that, I know the rain doesn't help, but it's not been the best of starts in this competition.
No, not really. No, I mean to be fair, they have an 11 out in terms of from the 100. So
that's a good effort in itself. Now it goes aerial over cover, not quite where he was aiming. Ollie Robinson. He was looking to hit that more down the ground. Got a thick outside edge, perfectly safe. Scriven runs back towards the rope, up towards the pavilion side here at Beckenham, and Robinson will pick up 2, and the Kent total moves on to 37, and his personal score on to 17. But both matches you've played here, you've lost in this competition. Durham by 103. Durham 405 for 4.
Yeah,
whoa,
that was a record.
Yeah. Here comes Turner. Bowls to Robinson. Robinson drives pleasantly up to mid-off, and they'll take a quick single. Well fielded there by Ian Holland.
Yeah, I'm not making excuses for Kent having so many players out, because all sides have lost players to 100, haven't they? But I think it's been very difficult for them. They had 3-4 players out, a hangover from COVID isolation as well, coming into the tournament as well.
Yeah.
Leaning was then called up to Trent Rockets. It's not been easy, as people probably know as well. In the T20, they had a whole 14 out for 2 of those games as well.
Turner bowls me. He goes aerial again. He's hit that big over mid-wicket. Has he got enough legs? Just fielder out there. Actually, does he field it in front of the rope? No, not quite. Well, almost a 6. It's 4 runs. It's a big roundary down the downslope here, away to our left. I thought he got hold of that better than he actually did. But it's 4 runs and not far off a 6. Apologies, actually, I said 2 defeats. It isn't. The other one was a no result against Lancashire here, wasn't it? Lancashire batting for almost 15 overs.
Yeah.
And that was it.
They were along, yeah, they'd scored a lot of runs at that point, but yes.
70 odd. Oh, it's bowled! Full delivery, and off stump, knocked out of the ground. Probably the perfect delivery to Mayeye, the way he was batting. And he goes for 24. It's 42 for 1. And a perfect off stump Yorker there from John Turner.
That was a great delivery. You can see a roar afterwards as well, stare down at the batsman, because that is a lovely, lovely delivery, as you say. Yorker length on off stump, has demolished it, and Tawanda Mayeye comes off, head down, just hand to his visor there. It was disappointed once again, but you just feel like a big score isn't far off coming, and he's very early in his career. But 42 for 1 then in the 6th, and Tawanda Mayeye goes for 24, and I'm going to sound like a stuck record, but it's another exciting cameo from a young player, but they're just waiting for the time when he takes that on further. Jack Leaning will come in at 3.
Yeah, just 19 balls with 4 fours. I mean, listen, I've only seen him for 19 balls, basically. He hits a lot in the air. You might have to have a little rethink about that, because of course the more times you hit the ball in the air, the more chance you go getting caught. But what he's got fantastic bat speed with the ball. I mean, he waits and waits, and at the last minute the bat goes back and forward very, very quickly, which is very impressive. But, yeah, he's a good player, no doubt about that. But a good ball to bowl when a player's playing like that. Perfect ball. Well bowled, John Turner.
Felt that as much in the celebration was that he'd executed his skills. Kevin James, that'll be the last time I'll be saying that.
Well, coaches will enjoy that. So Jack Leaning, 27 years old, formerly of Yorkshire, of course. So you say he got called up by the Trent Rockets. So
he did for 2 games,
2 games, and then he's back.
So that was COVID cover. Yeah. But he was out actually because he'd had COVID himself for the first couple of games. Then I think he came in for 1 game, and then he went off to the Trent Rockets for 2. So yes, as I said, he's been doing a bit of travelling, to be fair.
Yeah. So he's going to face his first delivery here from Turner, who runs towards us and bowls. It's a length ball. Leaning plays that classically in the full defensive mode, goes out into the covers, and that's the end of the over, and that's the end of the first power play. 6 overs gone. Kent are 42 for 1.
Thank you, Steve Watts, emphasising that. I was going to watch out for the umpire to make absolutely sure the information we've given was correct, but it is indeed. A good afternoon to David Fitzpatrick on kentcricket@gmail.com. Great to have your company, David, and your email as well. He says, my wife and I are celebrating our 34th wedding anniversary today. We had tickets that didn't come, and finally, and did come today, but finally gave up as we didn't expect play. Oh no! What a shame. But good to see the game is on. Well, that's very gracious of you, David. But yes, well, I won't tell you how good the weather is now. To be honest, it's still cloudy here, David, and we still might have a truncated game. But yeah, it has dried, and we have got a game, and actually the sun's poking through now as well. But lovely to have your company. What a way to celebrate your 34th anniversary, listening to me and Kevin waffling on. I mean, giving you all the best.
A wedding anniversary to remember.
Indeed.
What's 34
Very
in
welcome.
terms of?
I don't know.
What is, because obviously.
Is there a? There
must be.
It's organ polling from this end. Felix Organ, indeed. It's an off-spin from the Beckenham end. It's Robinson facing 42 for none. This one just guided backward a square. And no runs. A spinner coming on as soon as the power play restrictions are over. On comes in, all arms and legs as he bowls, pushed back at the bowler, and there's no run. So Curry's just in front of us at long on. There's a mid-wicket, there's a deep square leg, deep point as well. Robinson goes back onto his heels there to try and cut that away. Straight to the wicketkeeper, spilled by Allsop, but beats him outside the off stump. Oh, I've counted it already. That's 4, isn't it? It's 5 in the last power play. So, yep, everybody accounted for. Allgone once more to Robinson, trying to get on the front foot. Starts to run. Leaning's not interested. Sends him back. Dot ball. Allgone getting through his over pretty quickly on this town end.
Yeah, he doesn't hang around. 34 years, or 34th wedding anniversary is called Opal.
Opal?
Yeah.
There we go. So, David, that's what you'll have been buying for your wife, I'm sure.
Obviously.
And vice versa, of course. This one just leans forward. This rolls the wrists over it. Ollie Robinson turns it into the onside for a single. And that's the over. Just one off it, I believe. Yeah, 43 for none at the end of the 8th here on BBC Radio Kent, BBC Radio Solent.
The lustre of an opal is said to remain forever when worn by a faithful recipient. And 35, that must be a big one. I'll have to start saving up again. What is 35? I'll have to have a look. That'll give me a bit more time. Right, Ian Holland's coming on with his medium pace. The Hampshire all-rounder. 30 years of age. And keeper Tom Allsop is standing up. Just a reminder, if you're just joining us, there is no Lewis McManus because he is under the concussion protocol after being hit on the helmet, running between the wickets in Hampshire's last Royal London One-Day Cup game against Gloucestershire at Bristol, which they lost. So it's going to be Holland to Robinson. Is that right? Yeah, it's Robinson, isn't it, facing? Holland bowls. Robinson just guides that into the gap in the offside. Picks up a single for his trouble. And the Kent total moves on to 44 for 1.
Coral it was traditionally, but that's rather going out of fashion, I gather.
Is it?
I don't think you're supposed to chip bits of coral off reefs anymore, are you? I don't know.
No, I don't think that'd go down too well.
I mean, Kev's much of the thinking, aren't you, that if it's dead it doesn't matter. But I think it's where we're going with that, so.
That's turned on the leg side by Jack Leaning. He's off the mark. Goes out square. Kent total moves on to 45 for 1. I think in this modern day and age, the Coral, they'll have to think of a new one for 35, won't they?
Yeah.
I mean, if it was me, I'd think of something that's quite cheap.
The modern symbol, well, a bit of jade is what you should be going for,
Jade?
apparently. Jade has replaced coral now. It's a modern equivalent, yeah.
It's a pretty good couple of years, isn't it? Get a gift of something that's opal. Length ball, which is played back to the bowler by Robinson, and you get jade the next year. You'd be pretty good on your gemstones, wouldn't you, around this sort of time?
I'm going to say, yeah, you'd be racking up the rocks.
You would. That jewellery box would be a bit heavy, carrying that around. Felix Organ goes out at fine leg for this next delivery from Ian Holland. 45 for 1 then, as Holland comes in again. And bowls to Robinson. Robinson drives again, finds that gap in the covers. There is a man out deep, that's Tom Prest, who will open the batting alongside Tom Alsop. I presume Tom Alsop will keep opening the batting. It's a completely different day.
Yeah, about David, but yeah, it's out. To tell our listeners that. It is the BBC. There are trust issues on there. We can't pretend it's worse than it is.
Right, we're all in short sleeves. Well, apart from Ben, actually. Ben's got some sort of fleece on. He must be in a different weather zone to us, even though he's only a few yards away.
We'll bring him into the tent shortly. Seems very unfair, doesn't it? Poor bloke.
Is Holland bowls and Leaning finds that same gap this time out square on the offside, and it's fielded by Weatherly coming round from backward point. 47 for 1 at Kent here.
Yeah, it sounds from that like we've done some sort of cruelty on Ben, that we've chucked him out. We'll bring him back in the tent soon. He hasn't been bad, ladies and gentlemen. It's all right. It is his choice. Sitting out there. We're coming for an over in a minute. But yeah, the sun's quite bright actually now.
Lovely day. Holland to Robinson. Robinson plays that back to the bowler. Nice straight full delivery there from the Hampshire all-rounder. That's the end of the over. We've had 8 of the 27 bowled now. 47 for 1. The old stadium announcer, I say stadium, it's a lovely ground. It's not a stadium, but he certainly doesn't mind the sound of his voice over the tannoy, does he?
No.
He likes the crowd to hear him.
Well, I think that's right. They need to be informed, don't they?
Yeah.
Surely. But yeah, that's our very own Steve Watts. He's been he's an international announcer as well. Does some T20 internationals. Done 100 games.
Yeah, you can kind of tell in his voice, can't you? Listen to me because I know what I'm doing,
yeah, well,
and I've caught some big games.
I should tell him you said that with no side. Ben's due to come on. Shall I do this over and come on afterwards, Ben? Shall we do that? How about that? You can stray in over at half past. There we are. Mind you, the speed that Felix Organ bowls his overs, it'll be about 20 seconds. So he bowls now, and down the wicket comes Leaning, drives it into the offside, and there's no runs. Been a good summer for Jack Leaning, for Kent. Once again, has been proving his worth in T20 and Championship as well. Not really had a chance yet in the One Day Cup, but here's Organ to him on the back foot and cuts that away. He'll get himself a single, and 48 for none. And now his good friend and long-time batting partner, certainly last year in their 400 runs they scored against Sussex, Jordan Cox, was when he was called up to the Oval Invincibles franchise as Organ bowls. Looking little paddle there, a little reverse from Robinson. He'll get himself one, comes back for a hard run second towards the danger end and gets there in good time actually, so 2 more. 50 up for Kent for 1. But as much as Jordan Cox was happy about his own call-up, he's rather bridling that Jack Leaning didn't get in himself, and he's done very, very well in the T20s, Jack Leaning, this summer. And so you can understand to an extent why he might be thinking he should have been called up before his COVID replacement call-up. Single taken, 51 for 1. I suppose Jordan Cox also comes with the fact he's a wicket-keeper as well. So those franchises, they're looking for an extra player, and
who's he with?
Doing different things. Oval Invincibles. So it's all Kent wicketkeeper batsman there. Ball played into the onside. Sam Billings captaining the side, of course. And the Invincibles out towards mid-wicket. Single taken. I feel there's Tom Prest. I've not seen him play before. New players being introduced in this competition. Organ to Robinson, drives it. Doesn't really get all of it, a little bit low end of the bat, and he'll come back for 2. On to 54 for none then. A little bit more expensive this over from Organ. I think the last one was just 1, was it, of his very first?
Yeah.
26 Robinson, 4 for Leaning. That is indeed the end of the over. And the end of the 9th. And so 11, is that right, off the over? Am I counting right?
No, there was, I make it 7.
Sorry, that's my maths. It's actually my writing. And with that edifying note, let me bring in Ben Watts for me for some much needed sense to this side of the commentary with Kevin James on BBC Radio Kent and BBC Radio Solent. Kent Spitfires 54 for none off 9 overs in this one-day cup match.
And we're on the live picture feed as well via the Kent Cricket Club website. Also, that's going back to the Hampshire Cricket Club website as well. There's Ian Holland then. Comes in and bowls, and Leaning works that into the gap. There's a big gap there between backward point and extra cover. He's found it. 55 for 1. Dave Allen at Solent Sport on the tweets. Dave's Hampshire's honorary historian. He says it's not often that Hampshire pick a side with 11 men who have bowled for the county, including the keeper. Yes, Allsop, I think off the top of my head, has at least 1 first-class wicket. He might have a couple actually. So yeah, all 11 have bowled.
What does he bowl?
In the first team. Allsop bowls left-arm spin. Yeah.
Might be a keeper that bowls a bit of left-arm spin in my spare time.
3-dimensional, you see, you've got a 3-dimensional player. There's no all-rounders now, it's all 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional and what have you.
Yeah.
You're a 2-dimensional player, aren't you? As that's pushed out to extra cover, no run.
I try. Maybe at village level I am, or the level I play at I am.
Yeah. Give the captain some value. So, one man out, sorry.
Didn't execute my skills very well the other week. Got a second baller.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
Now it happens to everybody. Here's Holland again, and Robinson pushes that out towards extra cover. Nice accurate stuff here from Ian Holland.
Didn't have to bowl because the rain came and saved our blushes on that occasion.
Oh, that was the game where you said you were 20 odd for 7.
Yeah, the team was 20 for 7 when the rain came, and we managed to take 10 points from it, which didn't seem quite fair on the opposition, really.
See, just think you could have played a few more hours and not got any more points, just as well. That's the flick away on the leg side, a little bit too straight this time from Ian Holland. Goes down to fine leg. I think that's going to be signalled a leg by. Yep, and that will take Kent on to 56 for 1 in the 10th of 27 overs per side this match has been reduced to. Holland in again. I forgot what end that's called. You'll remind me, won't you? It's pushed up to mid-on by Jack Leaning. The mid-on's deep, so it's a jogged through single.
We refer to it as the city end.
City end, yeah.
And then behind us is the Beckenham end, or the town end.
Or the Crystal Palace training ground end.
That's what I like to call it, yeah.
I do, yeah. There was a horrible smell from that end.
I think they must have put some stuff on the pitches.
Yeah. There's a hedge behind us which is hiding the training ground, but just as you come into this ground, there is some gates which you can get into the Crystal Palace training ground. But if you stand by the gates, it's a horrible smell, isn't it?
Yeah, there is.
Of like horse manure. It's horrible. And that's pushed out towards extra cover. I thought it was me when I walked past. You know, when you think, oh God, what something on my shoe.
Yeah.
But I think we've realised that it's literally
you and I both had the
funneling out
same,
the gate.
yeah, the same, caught the same smell as we were walking past that way. Yes, the big dome over beyond the green seats is part of the Crystal Palace Academy investment. They've now got Category 1 status. So yeah, they bought the 6-a-side pitches that were over the road, building on that. Organ with a shock blonde hair, ready to continue with his off-spin. With Kent 57 for 1 after 10. We're playing 27 overs each after a delayed start due to rain. It's nice to see a bit of blue sky and sunshine, to be honest. I must admit, when we first rocked up this morning, didn't fancy us playing much cricket today. I'm quite glad about it as well, because I bought my dad and mum tickets, so I thought that was going to be in vain. But this one driven away by Leaning out towards extra cover. See, they're up in the green seats watching on. First time my mum's been to Beckenham, actually, which I didn't realise. But yeah, they're enjoying the view up there. It's quite a nice spot when the sun's out, particularly right now. Decent amount of spectators dotted around there, and also on some of the seating by the beer tent and over by the manual scoreboard over all the way to our left-hand side on Coppice Cope Road. This one is a good delivery from Organ, just flighted up, playing miss from Leaning. Picked up a couple from the previous stroke. Scott Curry refuelling down in front of us. You just hear a water bottle dropping to the floor in front of our effects mic, which I've propped on top of my lunch bag just to give it a little bit more elevation, just so it wasn't lying down in the grass. As Organ bowls and Leaning just skipping down the pitch but plays defensively. Bit of a different role for Felix Organ. I remember him being a opening bat and bowling a bit of part-time off spin.
Yeah, he bats about number 8 on this side at the moment.
Frontline spinner. As Leaning plays him away square. A little cut shot behind. Out towards backward point. Deep fielder, good stuff from him. Throwing it right over the top of the stumps and also whipping the bails off. But Leaning's sharp between the sticks and gets back for another 2. So he has 10, 61 for 1 in the 11th.
Just double check where he's batting. I'm sure it's about number 8. Yeah, it is. Yeah. He opened the batting in the first game against Essex, and he's been batting 8 ever since.
Quite the change-up as he bowls to Jack Leaning. Watchfully plays it and steers it behind square leg side this time. Gets himself a run. 62 for 1. Okay, going pretty hard in the power play overs with Miei, and like you were saying, he's all hands, isn't he? He's similar to Bell Drummond in that sense, the power that those guys get with wristy strokes. Seeing some of the clips of him opening the batting in the 2s T20 earlier on in the season when him and Bell Drummond were opening together. Really something to watch, as this one's a thick edge from Robinson. Good fielding though. Diving stop by the short third man to keep it to just 1. So end of the 11th over. Kent 63 for 1 here on BBC Sport Online, having been invited to bat first by Hampshire. 27 for Ollie Robinson with that single. He'll keep the strike for the next over.
Talking about spinners, I'm trying to get a bit more information about Liam Dawson's injury. Those of you that follow the 100, I haven't really followed the 100 if I'm honest, but he's got a dislocated finger from a recent Brave match, and it doesn't sound particularly good. I think Hampshire are still waiting on further scans, but they're not expecting him to be fit for the quarter-final of the T20s.
Yeah, that is a concern.
Yeah, and as far as the rest of the season's concerned, they're just not sure really. So it doesn't sound particularly good at this stage. Holland's going to continue from the city end with bowling, and that's pulled away in the air, but it's going to be short. No, it's not. Oh, and it's taken by James Fuller. Great catch, about knee height. It was just a flick off the front foot there from Robinson, and the ball kept going, and Fuller picked it up, running off the deep square leg boundary, and picked it up about knee height. Good two-handed catch from him. And Robinson goes 52 for 2, sorry, 63 for 2, and he goes for 27.
Kind of sums up Ollie Robinson's competition for me. He's kind of done a bit what Miei has. Matt was talking about the flash 20s we've seen from Miei. He's got 15, 22, 24, 25, 0 and 24. And then Robinson, 8, 13, 23, 2, 7 and then 27 today. He's hit some crisp early shots, but just, well, I guess Miei's got more runs than he has. He just hasn't really got going, and as well, he's been a stand-in skipper and the vice captain in this competition as well, Ollie Robinson, and as one of the guys that's not been picked up in the 100, he'll have really felt that this was a competition where he could excel in opening the batting, chance for him to go and get some really big scores. And well, he looked like he could have gone on and got one today, potentially a perfect sort of start for it, but once again he's found a way to get out, and well, for me, he should have been putting that ball away for 4. He's hit it clean and in the air, straight to the one man in the deep at deep square leg.
Yeah, it was neither one thing or the other really, was it? It wasn't along the ground, and it wasn't high enough to go over the fielder's head. It was just a swat away on the leg side, a sort of short-handed sort of swat away. And yeah,
and he's local to these parts, or his family are as well, Ollie Robinson, so I'm sure he'd have had family in today, so that it will be a real disappointment for him not to go on and get a really good contributing score. Harry Finch, the new batsman, at number 4 because George Muncey's got a hand injury. So he's not in the side for this one, which is a shame because he's had a cracking tournament.
He has, hasn't he? I had a chat with him early on because he played a few T20 games for Hampshire last year, and had a chat with him, and he's got a lot of cricket coming up for Scotland. Holland comes in and bowls, and that's steered out to point by... That's leaning on strike, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
He crossed.
Yeah, must have crossed.
But yeah, he's done a great job. I mean, he threatened to be a good player for Hampshire. He just had a spell. I think he played 5 T20s last year. In fact, he did. High score of 32, but only 55 runs in total. And he threatened to be a good player. I think you guys have done pretty well out of it, actually, as that's just quietly played back to the bowler. Clearly playing more to his potential.
Yeah, well, in the T20s that he played for Kent, so there was a couple of them. Saw him, play those reverse sweeps against the spinners and that sort of thing without really getting a big score. But in this competition, he's just at times bullied the bowling. Those muscular, powerful strokes he plays.
Yeah, Holland bowls, and then he gets a leaning edge, and he's gone caught and bowled. And that is another wicket in this over for Ian Holland. And Leaning goes for 11. 2 new batsmen at the crease now for Kent, which will be a little bit of a problem. 63 for 3.
God, that's an even bigger blow than the Robinson one. The fact to lose them both in the same over, when seemingly on this pitch, there's not really too many demons. We saw that from the way that Robinson and Miei were striking it earlier on. Really, both Leaning and Robinson will have felt that all they need to do is really just keep pushing it around, get the odd boundary. There should be big scores out there for batters today, and while both Robinson and Jack Leaning missing out. Leaning was going pretty well at Radlett on Friday before he went for a big stroke off the spinner and was bowled for 35. So yeah, he'll be disappointed, like Matt was saying, having been drafted by the Trent Rockets and not playing. He's at COVID as well, has missed some game time, and have been batting really well in the T20 competition this summer. So again, would have fancied himself for some nice big scores in this competition. Hasn't happened for him. Like you say, Kevin, it's 2 new batsmen at the crease, and Darren Stevens, who, when we asked him earlier on in the summer, did he fancy being a wild card pick for the 100? He said, no, to be honest, I'd rather play for Kent. With all the lads away, I might get up the order. This is the highest he's batted all season.
Is it?
Stevens in at 5.
The 45-year-old in the middle, still going strong. It's quite interesting. I quickly looked up his stats before this game. I mean, this has been a competition of predominantly of players out in the middle that have not played a lot of list A, have they? He's played 319.
He's played a lot of list A cricket.
Which is just insane. And here he is. He's probably played more than everybody else put together on this pitch. I should have calculated that, but I didn't.
That's a good
Let's
shout.
push to mid-wicket. I tell you what, I bet that's a good contest.
How many's Abbott played? Maybe
just over 100, about 110.
Oh, okay.
In fact, Abbott's played. Yeah, he's played. This is his 111th. Abbott.
I reckon Stevens might have done then.
I might calculate that up between innings. I should have done that when the rain was coming down, didn't I? I just thought of that. Holland bowls and Stevens is off the mark. Just quietly plays that away on the leg side. Fuller comes in off the deep square leg boundary. Kent move on to 64 for 5. I'll have a bet with you now. I reckon he's just about ahead of everybody else on the pitch combined.
I think it's a good shout. I think it'll be tight.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The collective total will be tight.
I mean, when you look at some of the Kent lads, I mean, Gilchrist has played 4, 7, quadri, 10. Well, Grant Stewart's not playing.
Gordon's first one.
Gordon's first. Yeah.
None of these lads are going to play much.
Muncie would have played a few. Oh, Muncie's not playing.
No.
So
Quinn a few, but it's only going to be a handful still. Nothing compared to the Steve.
Oh, Finch has played 42.
Okay.
That bumps it up a bit.
Yeah, that does a little bit.
Allsops, I think. Well, Manners is not in today. He's played over 50, I think. So a few that could have played are not in, so that helps.
Cast your vote. Who are you backing, Darren Stevens or the rest? So he's on strike. Organ bowling to him. All playing defensively forward, but played so softly that the ball deflected behind him. Keeper got half a hand on it. Just for the crowd that are in that have waited to see cricket today. There's a bit of a big ugly ragged cloud behind us as well. A bit of Darren Stevens would be lovely, but he goes for a cut shot here and plays and misses. Bit of vintage Stevens here, you can just feel the wind getting up. Playing down the ground this time, this next one from Felix Organ.
As Dave Allen's listening, I think Dave, I can almost feel in my earphones that Dave Allen is working it out for me now. So Dave, if you feel so inclined, count up everybody's list A appearances and we'll put that against 320 now for Darren Stevens. It's going to be a close contest.
He's probably 300 ahead of all the Kent lads. There's Organ. A little bit of fly. Oh, good delivery. Finch threw the hands at it. He's out there on Nor. Is that his first ball he's faced or second ball? That was a bit of a expansive drive. Plays it again and plays and misses. His next delivery. Good stuff from Felix Organ.
Has he been a good signing, Finch?
Oh, he's been excellent, yeah. Got 100 in the county championship against his former team, Sussex. Started off this competition like a train. Got 47 in the T20 against Middlesex at Lords. Defends this next one. And then got 64 first game of this comp. Shared in a stand of 133 with Muncie. And then got 84 at Worcestershire, and their stand was 184 that day. So had a couple of low scores since. 0 at Essex and then 3 against Middlesex. But yeah, he's had a cracking impact.
Yeah, not offered a contract by Sussex at the end of last season, the 26-year-old. Kent have snapped him up. Interesting, those 2 wickets have already had an effect because only 1 run has been scored off each of the last 2 overs.
It certainly has tried up the rate, hasn't it? Those runs were flowing really freely with Robinson leaning at the crease. Yeah, Finch has been playing 2s for Kent for much of the season actually, and then moved up.
Holland in again then from the city end. Bolster Stevens, who guides that into the gap on the leg side. Quickly in is Nick Gubbins at deep mid-wicket. And they don't risk a second run. Holland, before that ball, 3 overs, 2 for 7. Fantastic figures.
Won't be too many quick 2s with Darren Stevens out there, in fairness.
No, but he can pump the ball over the road quite easily, can't he? So I'm sure if he feels under pressure at any stage, we'll see that. 66 for 3 in the 14th. Remember, it's 27 overs per side. 2 bowlers can bowl 6 overs, 3 bowl 5. That's the breakdown. And you're right about that dark cloud. That looks not great, doesn't it?
Seen at the back of our gazebo as well. It's where the weather's coming from. It feels the same.
It's getting darker by the minute, by the second almost now, as that's played out on the onside and Holland fields off his own bowling. Mike Martin at Sun Sports says, I know what Dave Allen thinks about the 100, and it isn't positive. But Liam Dawson's injury seals it, he says. We're missing our best players in proper cricket for some silly slogathon. It's nuts, says Mike. Mike. Here's Holland again, bowls, and that's in the air, and that's caught at mid-wicket. And Finch has given his wicket away there. Simple catch for Nick Gubbins. Just played that away on the onside, but it was in the air, and he hit it straight to the fielder, and he goes for no score. And Kent just struggling here at 67 for 4.
Well, I think we've got to give some credit to Ian Holland, but at the same time, I can't help but feel like Robinson, Leaning and Finch have all just gifted their wickets to the bowler and to Hampshire, because this is a good pitch out there, and Finch has gone out looking to be quite proactive and throwing their hands quite hard at the ball, and has just lobbed that one up to mid-wicket. It brings the debutant Joe Gordon in at number 6. So you've got Stevens out there, the old stager, debutant in Gordon, and then we're into the kind of the bowlers and all-rounders. All because Ian Holland has managed to pick off the established or the more experienced players in the team in the space of a couple of overs.
Yeah, currently on his best figures in list A at the moment. 3 for 8 for Ian Holland, 3 for 11 is his previous. And it's very dark out there, and I'm just looking at the ground staff just to our right here, Ben. And
they're just starting to loiter, aren't they, and have a look.
They're looking up at the heavens, and they're obviously concerned, but not too concerned that they've got the covers ready.
Yeah, they're not going and standing over by the covers just yet.
No. So, Ian Holland will be bowling to... who's the new man again?
Yeah, Joe Gordon, debutant.
Joe Gordon, yeah.
Who's
19 years of age.
through the sort of one of the academy guys at Kent. Plays his club cricket at Canterbury Cricket Club. Opened the championship game against Sussex.
Right-hander. His first ball is just pushed out square on the offside, fielded by Joe Weatherly. It is incredibly dark out there at the moment.
I guess the only thing for the batsman should be okay, because it's white ball against the dark background, even with the whatever colour the cloud is. And you've got the black sight screens. Might be more difficult for the fielders a bit, but
Yeah. I just imagine
worry is that
we'll
the
get a
heavens will
shower
open.
here.
Yeah, we could well do.
Gordon works that away for his first runs and his debut in this competition. Comfortable single down towards Fuller, who comes off the deep square leg boundary, and the total moves on to 68 for 4 in the 14th. The ground staff are all looking up in the air, but they're doing no more. Probably got the old intake of breath through their teeth.
They've got the radar
as they look up.
on the go, haven't they?
Holland bowls, and Stevens again dabs that away on the leg side in exactly the same area, and they jog through a single. Stevens moves on to 4, 69 for 4 now. Sorry, yeah, 69 for 4.
Do they think they're sort of trying to work out if this big rain cloud's going to actually miss us?
Well, they're good, the best judges, aren't they?
Yeah, and like you say, or like we were saying, they're going to have the weather radar up and trying to work things out. Normally you can tell when it's going to rain at a cricket ground because the ground staff go and stand by the covers, but they're not doing that. So
no, they think they might get away with it, or will get away with it.
Kent are going to need to get a few more runs if they're going to get away with something here. Stevens drives into the covers, or as Organ continues. Should be a fairly comfortable 2.
Thrown at Stevens' end. It's a shock. I bet every ball that comes in from the deep is being thrown at
Shall
Stevens'
we throw
end.
it to the 19-year-old's end, or
What, the
the
45?
man in his 40s? Organ bowls. Just gentle push forward by Darren Stevens. Playing defensively.
Dave Allen's pulled the ladder up. He says he's not going to calculate it because he's too busy.
Well,
no, that's
oh,
right.
here we go. We might be able to calculate it in a moment because suddenly everyone's putting their umbrellas up over the green seats. In comes that shower then. Or just all of a sudden the heavens opening and a flurry of umbrellas at the far end. And the players now making their way off. Kent 71 for 4, having been 63 for 1 a few overs ago, but a spell by Ian Holland to remove Robinson, Leaning and Finch in quick succession. Hampshire with the upper hand in the game. But we are going to certainly have a brief delay here.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that long, is it?
No, hopefully it's just going to be a bit of a shower. What?
Mass exodus in those green seats over the far end. It's almost like they're going off. They're going home. So are we having a bit of a break?
Yeah, I mean the cloud sort of out the back looks a bit whiter than the dark grey stuff overhead that's currently leaking all over the ground. But yeah, let's hope it'll be a passing shower. Spectators heading back to their cars for a bit of cover because there's no roof over that stand over on the far side. Just seeing some of the water spraying off the cover as ground staff are just putting a single sheet out over the wicket. They're not bringing the main covers out just yet. So yeah, hopefully this is just going to be a passing shower. But for the time being, we'll take a little break and we'll leave Kevin James to crunch some numbers.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Hello then, we're back. Short, sharp shower. We've lost some overs from the game. Around about 8 overs, I think, but 24 overs aside. Now was 27, so that will be 6. Indeed, it's Organ to Stevens working that into the onside. It's Kent against Hampshire, one-day cup, now reduced to 24 overs aside after that short, sharp shower. So 6 overs lost, in fact, and we didn't start until quite late today, 2:30. Felix Organ is bowling to Darren Stevens. Stevens drives that into the offside attractively. Long chase around for James Fuller out there, throwing the ball back in. It is indeed. That'll be 2 for Stevens. 73 for 4 now, Kent. Stevens on to 8. Kent lost, well, there was 63 for 1 at one stage. Robinson and Leaning going. And then they lost 3 quick wickets, 66 for 4 that then became. 3 wickets and 2 overs for Ian Holland. Just nurdled off his pad by Stevens to backward square rather, and there's no run. So, on a pitch which normally has plenty of runs in it, I have to say Hampshire feel like they're ahead at the moment. It's Matt Cole with you and Kevin James as well. Balls to Darren Stevens. Just gently levers that into the onside and fielded at mid-wicket by Nick Gummins. End of the over. So 73 for 4 then at the end of 15 of 29 overs now. And Steve Watts on the PA system. So 9 overs to come. I thought I was going to say when the power play was, but there we are. I was just holding for that. But Kev James, it feels like Hampshire doing a pretty good job here. Those 3 wickets really have done a great service for them. Kent being slowed down, they might get a bit of a bump from the Duckworth Lewis at the end of this innings, but it's going well for the visiting side.
Yeah, so not surprising that Ian Holland is continuing. He's bowling to Joe Gordon, making his debut in this competition. Plays it out to the covers, fielded by Scriven, and there is no run. During the break, Dave Allen did very kindly work out some totals for us. I was trying to work out some as well, because this is Darren Stevens' 320th List A match today as Holland bowls, and that's turned away on the onside. He's running but sent back by Stevens. Throw comes in over the top of the stumps to Alsop, and he's home, Joe Gordon. And we wondered if the sum of all the other players on both sides didn't actually quite match 320. Well, they actually do go over.
Oh,
yeah. By a considerable amount, actually, which I'm quite surprised about, as that's pushed up to mid-on by Gordon. Takes the Kent total on to 73 for 4 now in this 16th of 24. So Dave has worked out that the other 10 Kent players total 190. That's very close to what I actually had. I had 181, so thanks, Dave. But in the Hampshire side, what bumps the total up as Holland comes in and bowls, and it's pulled away by Stevens. It's in the air. Fuller's under it. Takes the catch. Simple catch. In fact, it's Joe Weatherly down there. Fuller's moved around to deep mid-wicket. So Joe Weatherly, I think, is that with the catch? Looks like it. Oh, no, it's Felix Organ. Tell a lie. But what I can tell you is that Darren Stevens has gone for 8, and it's 73 for 5. Kent's woes continue.
yeah, and 4 now for Ian Holland. It's at 4 for 11. It's going very well indeed. But that just it always felt short from leaving the bat to me. And Organ got himself arranged very nicely at deep square leg. And Stevens goes, and 74 for 5. This is not good batting from Kent, has to be said. It's a much rearranged side, as we know, but really, on what looks like a flattish pitch, they've not done themselves any favours. And will they get something to bowl at, I wonder, from this? Well, there's some tail-enders there. Certainly Grant Stewart and Harry Podmore hit the ball very well. Hamid Kadri was seen a bit off. Nathan Gilchrist is no mug either, so they can make runs, but really the batsman you would back to score the runs quickest in the remaining 9 overs are all back in the hutch. So 74 for 5.
So this is Grant Stewart walking out to the middle. He's played just 10 List A games. As I say, there's quite a lot of inexperience in the Kent side as regards this format. Quite understandable, really, with all the problems that they've had over the last few weeks. But just going back to Dave Allen, Hampshire's historian, his tweet, it says Abbott with 110, Gubbins 61 and Allsop 52. That takes the players way over Darren Stevens' appearances in this competition. In fact, Hampshire in total with this side, even though they're missing quite a few, is 366 appearances in this format. So Grant Stewart's got a job to do here, along with his partner Joe Gordon, to get this Kent total up to a decent total, and I think we're going to be all right weather-wise now. I think we're going to get the majority of this game in as Stewart pushes forward, and that's pushed out into the covers, and there is no run. Ian Holland has 4 for 11 now, coming to the end of his 5th over, his best bowling in this competition.
I was going to ask you that very question.
Was you?
No surprise that...
So I could tell you were.
Just a little bit psychic.
Oh, well, I mean, a lot of things. As Stewart pushes it up to mid-on, there is a gap there, so he's off the mark. Kent move on to 74 for 5, and that is 16 overs done. Remember, we're down to 24 overs aside. I think, well, Kent's total will get readjusted because they've lost 3 overs of this innings. But quite how much it's going to be adjusted upwards, I'm not sure at the moment, having lost so many wickets. But then again, I'm not a connoisseur of the Duckworth-Lewis-Stern calculations.
Maybe not much, I think, maybe the answer to this, but certainly when they played Sussex the other day and had a Ranger up to game, and then we expect the Sussex total to be boosted, but they lost a lot of wickets as well and didn't get anything on it at all. So we'll see what happens. Tom Prest to bowl. You'll have to tell me.
Bit of off spin.
Thank you very much.
Couple of wickets against Gloucestershire last Friday.
I saw that he bowled, but yeah.
It's handy off spinner actually. He'll open the batting along with Tom Allsop.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of his bowling really. He's only, like many of these players, only breaking into the first team this year in all 3 formats, and saw a bit of his off spin.
Bowls now driven by Stewart, who's just come in up towards mid-off. It's fielded by Kyle Abbott, and there is no run. 2 for Gordon, 1 for Stewart. The rain's coming down again. I mean, it looks very fair out there. Pace off the ball from Prest. Gentle drive up to mid-on this time, or to long on by Gordon, and that's a single. But
where's that rain coming from? Because I can
weird.
only see bluish sky.
Well, you know what the obvious answer is, where the rain's coming from.
But we can't see any.
It's coming from the sky.
It looks fine.
But it does, absolutely. But just cut away for a single by Gordon. But no, I completely understand what you mean. We can't... And actually, the rain's coming down on this tent, but I'm not sure how far across the ground it's stretching at the moment. There's umbrellas up on the far side as well, so... Yeah. But you say looking around us, you don't feel... And the ground staff aren't leaping on either. So on the back foot, punched away by Grant Stewart up to long on. Curry Fields is a single. But yeah, it doesn't feel like it should be raining. No. But that doesn't mean it isn't. 77 for 5 Kent in the 17th over. Just outside the off stump. Gordon plays it into the offside, but just a single. Australian born. It's Joe Gordon, Kent cricketer, 19 years of age. Round the wicket comes Prest, dropped into the onside. Long chase for Curry up from long on, but I'll just take the single in there. Not confident about the second one. End of the over then, 78 for 5 of 17 overs, with 4 for Gordon, 3 for Stewart. And understandable slowdown, these two batsmen new at the crease, and Kent have lost wickets quickly in the middle order. All the damage being done by Ian Holland. Actually, he's taken the last 4 to 4, and does he still have an over? He won't have now, will he?
No,
he won't. No, with 24 overs, 5 is as much as you can bowl. So it will be a change of bowling at the far end.
Tom Scriven, who's a genuine all-rounder actually for Hampshire, but hasn't had much of a look in the first team. Played a little bit last year, but this year has played 3 of these matches, but actually hasn't bowled to date. So bowls a little bit of medium pace, looks to angle the ball away from the right-hander. Keeper standing up. He's got a chance here to show what he can do. The sunshine is out, which is good news, despite maybe the odd drop of rain in the air. So Scriven from the city end runs towards us and bowls. And he's trying to cut that one away on the offside is Gordon, misses that one. Tom Alsop, just to repeat if you're just joining us. Tom Alsop behind the stumps. There is no Lewis McManus today. He's serving under the concussion protocol after being hit on the helmet with a wayward throw whilst batting at Bristol on Friday. Big loss for Hampshire actually. He's been batting well in this competition as Scriven comes in again. There's a length ball. Oh, it's almost gone straight to backward point. Joe Weatherly gets his fingertips almost underneath that one. Didn't quite carry.
No, it's close enough, as you say, just diving down, but just died on him as it came through from Joe Gordon, who's made a tentative start to his Kent debut.
Yeah. So he's played the one first-class match. He came in because of the COVID situation, didn't he? This is his first list day. Getting a chance that perhaps he wouldn't otherwise have expected as Scriven bowls. That's nicely played, just waited for that one. Plays that on the up, out towards deep backward point where it's fielded by Tom Prest. And that would be a single to the Kent total. They move on to 78 for 5. And Gordon moves on to 5. Easy.
We haven't actually talked about this, the COVID outbreak at Gloucestershire, people are not aware, but not playing Middlesex today. They were due to be here, are due to be here on Thursday.
Gets inside edge there, Grant Stewart, as he plays that out on the onside, but there are 2 men in the deep. That'll only be a single there, 80 for 5.
So we're waiting to hear whether Kent will play Gloucestershire on Thursday, but as we understand it, this group will be, from now, will be average points per game across the board. So,
oh, across the board?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't realise that.
I believe so.
Does that mean you don't have to play your last game then? As Scriven bowls, and that's played into the ground on the onside. They'll have to hurry here. Throw comes in. I think it's hit the stumps and he's out. Grant Stewart has run out, running to the keeper's end. Don't quite know what was going on between the 2 batsmen there. The calling wasn't great. And Scriven came across after bowling and picked the ball up and just about shaved the stumps and took the bails off. So Stewart goes, and Kent really are now in trouble here at 80 for 6.
Yeah, Stewart goes for 4, and well, at the moment they're in danger of not posting a total big enough to even worry Hampshire when they come to bat. But yeah, in the 18th over now, 80 for 6. Stewart goes for 4 rather. Gordon has 5, and will be thinking to himself about exactly what happened in the middle there, as you say, a real mix-up. Not got running from either of them, but yeah, 80 for 5. See, as I understand it, obviously it's quite possible Gloucestershire won't play on Thursday against Kent either, but we
Right.
await confirmation. But the other sides in the wake, then Middlesex won't play their full game, so they'll have to be judged on points per game, which means basically everybody will be judged on points per game. So
Oh, right.
it'll be an average across there.
So Hampshire might not have to go up to Durham then?
No, it'll be points per game at the end. of
Oh,
the
you
group.
still play it?
Yeah, you
so,
still play.
of
Yes,
course,
sorry, yeah. Is that just wishful thinking there?
I'll be thinking of all sorts of excuses. Especially if Hampshire lose this, which I have to say at the moment doesn't look as though they will, but you never know.
It's not been convincing at all from Kent, unfortunately.
That would be a nightmare to think that if Hampshire won this and beat Durham and just sneaked in on the normal point system, and then it goes back to points per game and Hampshire miss out. I suppose
Yeah.
that could be a scenario, couldn't it?
It could be, but obviously a team like Gloucestershire have no way now. Well, if they don't play Thursday, have no way of improving their situation.
No, true.
For instance,
That's true.
and although Middlesex weren't really troubling the qualification either.
Sure. Now the new man is, as Scriven bowls to him, Harry Podmore, wearing the number 1. Brave man wearing number 1, I always think.
I think so too. Yeah, he's a confident young chap though. I think he wanted 23 originally, but Daniel Bell Drummond has that, as the story goes anyway.
Yeah.
As I remember it. And he said, "Oh, I'll have 1 then." There we go. That's very much Harry Podmore.
Oh, good, ain't he? 80 for 6, 18 gone.
And yeah, Kent 80 for 6. I mean, if you're looking at T20, we're at T24 here, and they're 80 for 6 with 6 overs to go.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. There's no.
It's an inside edge, a big swing by Gordon. It's gone past wicket-keeper Alsop from this first ball of his second over from Tom Preston. It comes through. I think no buys. There we go. Big swing of the bat. The deviation was from the spin then as it came into the right-hander.
I don't think there's any format of the game where 80 for 6 is great.
It's a very good point, actually. I'm trying to justify it or trying to think about it against a T20, but no. I think you're absolutely right. It's pressed, little flick into the onside from Gordon. He'll take a single. He goes on to 6. But more yet to score.
I mean, there's still 6 overs left.
I don't be picky, but T10 maybe.
T10, yeah. Perhaps.
T10 on a testing pitch.
Yeah.
How about that?
I mean, not even 6-a-sides, because you wouldn't be 6 down in 6-a-side.
That's true. I'm clutching at straws here, though. His press a slightly quicker delivery. Podmore ends up waiting for it and just guiding it out to the offside for a single. He loves to drive, does Harry Podmore. Gets those long levers going. But will they give him anything? It seems to be. They're taking all the pace off the ball here. Hampshire round the wicket for Prest. Outside beats. Gordon all ends up through to the wicket keeper. No run. No sign either that Kent are going to be accelerating here. As they have overs to go. Little flick by Gordon. Nicely fielded, actually. Fielded behind square by Turner. Single taken. 85 for 6 then, Kent here. And the 19th of 24 overs now has been rearranged. It was 27 they started with at 2:30 today here on BBC Radio Kent, BBC Radio Solent. Round the wicket comes Prest again, driven past the bowler. Good shot that from Podmore. It's actually just checked it back past the bowler. No great swing, just good timing. Straight through long on, narrowly past the stumps, and that's 4 runs. It's been a while since Kent have had a boundary as well. 5 for Podmore, 7 for Gordon, 89 for 6 at the end of 19.
9 runs off that, which is a better over for Kent. Oh, power play 3. He's a great announcer, this guy, isn't he? We know exactly what's going on. Look at that. He's even explained how many fielders outside the 30-yarders one. He's great, isn't he?
He's come straight. Yeah.
He's actually gone beyond the Call of Duty. Yeah, really. I don't know if he gets any overtime payments for that.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But
Any
I don't know.
extra
Actually, I don't know what the pay rates are, or the hours of
Any extra information means extra pounds.
Oh, I see what you mean. You're being paid by the word.
Well, there could be
Possibly.
that as well. Yeah. Here's Scriven from the City end then with his second over. That's hitting the air, but there's nobody at mid-off. So that's perfectly safe, and that'll be a single to Gordon. And that takes him on to 8, I think that is, 90 for 6.
Yeah, very similar shot to Podmore's the end of last over, wasn't it, which went for 4.
It's fair enough, hitting the ball in the air, as long as he's in the gaps, that's the main thing. 4 overs to do after this as Scriven comes in, still Alsop up at the stumps as that's cut away and hard by Podmore out to deep point. That'll be Prest doing the fielding there. 91 for 6. Kent's total will be revised upwards, but we're not sure by how many. It may not be much.
Yeah, I think with 6 down, it's not looking like it's going to be many.
Started their innings with 27 overs to bat. It's now 24. Here comes Scriven again and bowls, and that's whipped away on the leg side by Gordon. It's gone down towards Fuller. Picks that one up cleanly. Throws it in one bounce to Tom Alsop. Kent move on to 92 for 6.
Harry Podmore's claim to fame in this format was a semi-final victory down at New Road, Worcester. He and Adam Rouse took Kent home.
All right.
Podmore was very young in his Kent career at that point. On loan.
Scriven to Podmore off the back foot. Carves that out on the offside. Now Prest has got a bit of work to do here. Well, they thought they were going to go 2, but Prest does well there, even though he's moving away on his wrong side. Keeps it down to a single, 93 for 6. So yeah, he did him and
Adam Rouse after Heiner Kuhn, who I think just scored a century every innings, as far as I remember in that series, more or less, didn't he? He was just.
I think I remember.
He was incredible. Was it five centuries out of 6 innings, something like that?
Yeah. Here's Scriven. Oh, that's whipped away. Now that could be gone all the way. And is it caught on the boundary? Yes, it is. Felix Organ. Well caught, sir. His second catch down there at deep square leg. And I thought Gordon had enough on that. That is a big boundary away to our left. But Scriven kept his eye on it. He also had to keep his eye on the rope as well. And he takes that cleanly. And Gordon has gone now. 93 for 7.
What a catch that was. Seemed to be coming over his shoulder by the time he got there as well, the fielder. Marvellous take. And yeah, Gordon has gone then. I think he had every right to expect that to disappear over the boundary for 6.
He just looked as though he'd hit it well enough, didn't he?
He got a lot of that, but Gordon goes.
It's gone for 9, I think.
Yeah, for 9. Kent 93 for 7 in the 20th over. And yeah, maybe if we're not thinking about much jeopardy here, because I mean, Kadri comes out with that Harry Podmore. These two, they've got 4 and a bit overs to go. They need to swing because they have no total on the board here, really, do they, for 24 overs?
No, I mean, in a 24 overs a side game, there's still quite a few overs left, isn't it, relatively? Kent well, they started well enough, 42 without loss in the 6th. It's been all downhill since then. Here's Scriven again, bowls, and Podmore's off the back foot, works that out to extra cover, fielded by Gubbins, and that will be the end of the over. 20 overs gone, and the Kent total is 93 for 7.
We'll bring in Ben Watts now, take us through to the end of the Kent innings. Kev James will be refreshed coming back as Hampshire attack whatever total is that Kent put up. Thank you, Kevin. So 20 overs gone, 93 for 7. It's looking a very weak score, this one, you'd have to say. 7 for Podmore remains out there, 1-4 from his 5 balls. It's going to be Abbott returning as well. Not much respite for Kent. I don't know if they're at all distracted by the fact this might be their last game, Kent, with doubtful that Gloucestershire will be here on Thursday for that one-day cup game, but whatever is in their minds, certainly they haven't batted well here. 93 for 7.
It's about time we got James off the commentary. He's taken too many wickets today.
Yes, yeah. 7 down already. Be a bit late to get him off, really. Here's Abbott bowling to Kadri, who runs it down to third man. Batted well, actually, Hamid Kadri. Been a bit of a revelation for me in this competition.
He's the 4th man, to be honest.
Yeah,
Kadri is a bit unlucky to be down at 9. Got 40 and a 42 and a 35.
Yeah, obviously brought Kent for his bowling. But yeah, 42 not out against Durham.
Has he been out yet in this competition?
I was just checking that. No, he has not been out yet in this competition. So his average is looking wonderful in one-day competition.
Boy, he hasn't got one at the moment. He's got to get out to get an average.
Well, I'm thinking about the games he played before as well.
Overall.
Yeah, overall. So on the full, taking this one low down by Stewart. It's a drive, bottom hand comes off as Curry fields.
So what is his list day average?
So his list day average coming into this one was 102. Why is he not opening the batting? His average is 102.
Down at 9.
He's Don Bradman-esque, is Hamid Kadri. Admittedly, that's 3 not out innings out of the 4 he's actually had from 7 games. So Abbott to Kadri. If you want to keep that going, so every run is a run on his average at this point. So what's he got now? 1. So his average is now 103, unless this is kept up with his. I don't think this has quite kept up the score I'm looking at. So yeah, tough man. I'm surprised he didn't put him up the top of the order. Really, Hampshire have been wondering whether when the wonder boy Kadri was going to come in, he sort of Bradman. Hutton, Cowdrey all rolled into one. This is pulled away. Not really, it's just back of a length perhaps from Abbott, but a single taken out to mid-wicket.
His surname does sound a bit like Cowdrey, if you don't say it properly.
Kadri, yeah.
Kadri.
That's right. Perhaps in the future, these incredible batting exploits, we'll see the Kadri and the Cowdrey stand.
Yeah, they'll have to start double naming more of the stands.
Is Podmore to face then. 21st of 24 overs. Abbott to him, backs away, and Abbott can just back of a length. It's come on to Podmore so quickly on outside the leg stump as he's made some room for himself that he just ended up, well, flapping at it back towards Abbott. Ends up at the bowler's feet, and there's no run. 96 for 7, Kent. Scorecard was looking okay at the top in the top of the order, but then Ian Holland ripped through the middle of the Kent order. Abbott then to Podmore, bouncer. Podmore tries to help it down towards the leg side boundary. Rehearses the shot again, both of them missed. 96 for 7 at the end of the 21st. So not a very bountiful over for Kent. Great from Carl Abbott, as you'd expect, just 3 off the over. And Kent are 96 for 7 at the end of the 21st. Podmore has 8 and Kadri has 2. The men to go, Mayeye bowled Turner 24, that at 42 for 1. Robinson caught Fuller, bowled Holland 27. Leaning caught bowled Holland 11. Finch caught Gubbins, bowled Holland for none. Stevens caught Organ, bowled guess who? Holland for 8. Stewart run out by Scriven for 4. And Gordon caught Organ, bowled Scriven for 9.
Yeah, shame for Joe Gordon. I thought he hit that really well. I was expecting that to go all the way for 6. Debutant. Personally thought he was at fault for the Stewart run out. It was his call, and not sure Stewart was really particularly pleased. That probably well, I guess he could have called him, could have said no, sent him back. Big swing away from Kadri into the leg side as Scott Curry comes on from the city end of the ground. That'll be 1 out towards deep square leg. Yeah, I guess a bit of both then in that sense. Gordon's called it, probably wasn't a run there. Stewart should have said no but didn't, and in the end was run out quite comfortably. Direct hit. Podmore though, trying to show what he's about. An opportunity at the crease. Oh, big swing and a miss, and Curry cleans him up, takes the bails off with that delivery, and Kent reduced to 97 for 8. And well, this Kent innings, which started with so much promise, well, the way that Mayeye and Robertson started off is all crumpled into a bit of a heap.
Yeah, it really has, hasn't it? Just 3 batsmen making double figures at this point. 97 for 8, a much changed Kent side, but so they really haven't done themselves any justice here at all today. David's been back in touch, David Fitzpatrick. They stayed for a bit and then left, and then there's cricket, and well, maybe he's glad that he went home on his wedding anniversary now that Kent are crumbling. 97 for 8, but he's very pleased to know what he should be buying for his 34th wedding anniversary. Says thanks for that news, but his wife is not here at the moment, so I won't tell her I need to buy anything in Opal. There we go. Tactics from David there. I'm not sure I can approve that message, but I totally understand it, David. Thank you very much. Lily's been in touch as well from Moulton in North Yorkshire. Great to have your company, Lily. But Kent are struggling. You're not wrong there, Lily. And the wickets have dried up the Kent run, says Lily. You're absolutely right. Yorkshire aren't playing. Rain at Chesterfield at the moment. I love Chesterfield. Fantastic ground.
I went to Chesterfield, but never saw any cricket there. 4-day game, September.
Oh, of course, I remember that one. Yes, yeah.
Nothing.
Was that controversial, the rain out at Chesterfield?
Well,
or was
because it rained on the first day, and then
Yeah.
we had 4 days of sunshine, but it just never dried out.
Was that the same year as Kent went to Worcester, opening game of the season, and it was sunny for 4 days and they didn't get any play? I think it might have been.
Curry then to the new man Gilchrist, edges down towards short, third man for a single, which is better than his effort the other day where he got a first baller.
Yeah, I seem to remember that was the year when they tried not to moan about it too much, Kent, but it wasn't great.
Because it got moved from Derby at the last minute to
That's
Chesterfield
right,
because
that's
of
right.
a couple of concerts they'd had left the outfield not particularly pleasant, as this one's clipped away by Kadri into the onside. They're going to run back for 2. They should make this as well as a shy at the bowler's end, which is quite aggressive from the deep from Fuller.
That's right. And Well, that's something to talk about, 100 in the 22nd over. But yes, and there was controversy, I suppose, in the other direction, that the game at Worcester wasn't moved when the sun shone for 4 days and we didn't play. These days they look at Kidderminster, don't they,
Yeah.
when conditions are like that.
Curry in and bowling again. Kadri hit on the pad and given out LBW. And he was almost walking off there, Kadri. He was almost conceding that he was probably struggling there. Good full delivery from Curry. And little hesitation from the umpire. So Kadri does have an average in the One Day Cup this summer, as he is dismissed for just 5. And with Matt Quinn to come out at number 11, Kent are in danger of not even batting for their 24 overs. They're 100 for 9.
Yeah, when you put it like that, it's quite damning, isn't it?
Yeah,
not batting out 24.
Consider, I was saying the other day that Kent had played better cricket than their record in this competition suggested, and they got the win at Radlett the other day, fully deserved. Albeit only 4 players, I think, got double figures. We had a couple of 35s and 2 half centuries, so the score that they got was very much based on a couple of good partnerships. But yeah, was backing them earlier on in the week, saying, yeah, they've played better cricket in this One Day Cup competition than their results suggest, but today they've just been woeful. This has been really poor collapse on what is normally an excellent batting wicket. 100 for 9 at Beckenham. Credit to the Hampshire bowlers, but I do feel like a lot of the wickets have just been given away, just been helping catches to fielders at times. Not been great watching for the home supporters.
Yeah, it's gone very quiet, to be honest. Here, there's still a good number of spectators in the ground, but they'd love something to cheer about from a Kent point of view. But Hampshire at the moment, absolutely driving this one.
Curry bowls, oh, playing a miss from Matt Quinn, who is, well, a proper number 11 in some senses.
I think, to be fair to Matt Quinn, even 12 balls of 24 overs is, you know, I mean, it's a big responsibility to put on him, is what I would say. Or rather, that's being a bit unfair to him. What I'd more say is that he shouldn't be in this position.
No, he shouldn't be. He shouldn't have been batting in 24 overs.
No.
2 to go then.
Yeah, and Nathan Gilchrist is still out there. He's not played many matches. He just 5 One Day Cup matches in total. Nathan Gilchrist, well, I said Zimbabwean, then the guys at Essex said South Africa. I said, well, he was brought up in South Africa. Then he went to school in Taunton. We'll just say he's a Spitfire, shall we?
Yeah, Kent's.
We'll settle on
Kent's
that.
Nathan Gilchrist.
Kent's Nathan Gilchrist. He's Abbott to him then. Just adjusts his feet there. Flicks it in towards backward square. Good effort by the fielder. It's gone for 4 though. Brave effort actually out there. Just looking at who that fielder is at deep backward square. Is that Tom Press just diving for that? I think it was, yeah. One of those that you're threatening your teeth as you go towards it.
Yeah, I think at 100 for 9, I might have just decided to stop that going for 4, but I guess that shows the sort of character Tom Prest is.
Yeah, I would feel exactly the same. That's fair, just get something in the way of it. But really good effort. Abbott to Gilchrist, cuts that away towards the point boundary. Fuller field, single taken. 105 for 9 then. 5 now for Nathan Gilchrist. Matt Quinn faces.
You could also argue that team's only got 100 on the board. If you can take a risk to try and get the catch and concede a boundary, it's not 4 runs. They're probably not going to hurt you.
If you do get the catch, your
Job done.
Your team's not far off home and hose at that point, you would think. But Abbott bowls to Quinn. Quickly onto the back foot, defending that. He's rapid. Obviously, is Kyle Abbott. No run. And yeah, it's not much to bowl at. This is it. I go again back to, this is a 24 over match. If this was a 2020 match and Kent were putting 110, 115 on the board, you'd say, well, this is game over right now. So
no, Kent would want double that on this
yeah.
surface.
Abbott then bowls to Quinn. and tries the uppercut there, but doesn't reach it through to wicketkeeper Tom Alsop over the top of the stumps. No run. 105 for 9. But we'll see. As I said, with that news from the Gloucestershire camp, they've got COVID in the camp, couldn't play against Middlesex today. We don't know whether they'll be here on Thursday.
Yeah, it might be a pretty sorry end to the Spitfires competition, which has had some nice glimpses, but without any real succession of results, just the one win.
Those are my thoughts, certainly. But Abbott up in the air from McQuinn, steepling catch, pressed underneath it, and does take it, and they are all out. Kent for 105 in the 23rd over as Quinn goes for a big shot, and why not? Didn't quite get a hold of it. In bright sunshine now, it has been a rain-truncated game to 24 overs a side, but Kent bowled out for 105 as Matt Quinn is caught in the deep off the bowling of Kyle Abbott. The Hampshire skipper takes his first wicket, and they must be pretty confident, Hampshire, you'd think, of taking the points here. And also for them, if there is going to be a battle to get into the quarterfinals, this will do their net run rate and no harm if they can knock off this runs quickly, which you'd imagine they'll be in a hurry to do here at Beckenham. Still a chance for Kent, but they're going to have to bowl very, very well to get anywhere near a foothold of victory against Hampshire here. Kent bowled out for 105.
Yeah, excellent fielding in particular, I thought, from Hampshire. Some good bowling. Like I said earlier, I think a number of Kent batsmen felt like got themselves out rather than were got out at times with some of the catches that we saw. Run out mix up as well, but credit particularly the way that Hampshire fielded and some decent enough bowling which forced those mistakes. And like you say, Matt, Kent are going to have to bowl absolutely out of their skin and field like demons to go and get a result from this one. If it ends up being anywhere near close, we'll have a decent game, but it could well be that it's a bit of a cruise for Hampshire. They can pat the ball around and probably walk their way to victory in 24 overs just to chase just 106.
So Kent have been added 3 runs for the Duckworth-Lewis there, so it's a huge 108 that Hampshire will need to win this one. So just the 3 runs added because of the Duckworth-Lewis adjustment, because 3 overs lost mid-innings to the rain. Let me go through the card, which will make lovely listening for Hampshire listeners. Let's face it, on BBC Radio Solent, as well as BBC Radio Kent joint commentary. So in order of departure, Mayeye bowled Turner for 24, Robinson caught Fuller bowled Holland 27, Leaning caught and bowled Holland 11, Finch caught Gubbins bowled Holland for none, Stevens caught Organ bowled Holland for 8, Stewart was run out by Scriven for 4, Gordon on debut caught Organ bowled Scriven for 9, Podmore bowled by Curry for 8, Kadri LBW to Curry for 5, and Matt Quinn last to go court pressed bowled Abbott for none. The bowling figures, Kyle Abbott 4.5 overs, 1 for 26. John Turner took 1 for 24 off his 3. Felix Organ none for 19 off 5. Holland the most economical and best with the wickets as well, 4 for 12 off his 5. Prest none for 11 off 2. Tom Scriven 1 for 6 off his 2. But a run out included in that over as well, in the second over rather. And Scott Curry 2 for 4 off his 1. 108 needed for Kent then. The Kent fielding unit and bowlers are warming up now. We'll take a brief break here at Beckenham on BBC Radio Kent, BBC Radio Solent. Me, Matt Cole, Ben Watts and Kevin James will rejoin you when Hampshire come to the crease for their reply.
Second innings here at Beckenham. Sun still shining, which is good news if you're a Hampshire supporter or you just want to see more cricket. Probably means that Kent are going to lose the game because the rain is not going to save them. But then again, what, 10 overs? There's an irony that 10 overs are required to complete a over in the one-day cup, or complete an innings, complete a game in the one-day cup, and yet Hampshire could, well, if they go hard, might knock this off before 10 overs, Kevin James.
Yeah, well, I should imagine Joe Maiden, the analyst, has worked out some sort of run rate here that ideally, rather than, I mean, if Hampshire win this, I mean, gosh, you know, we'll have to wait and see, but if they were to win this, there might be an optimum time to pass 108. It might be the 21st over, it might be the 20th, I don't know. I mean, you've got to be a little bit careful, you can't just go out gung-ho, but to give them half a chance going up to Durham, because as you guys have pointed out to me, it's going to be a points per game basis on this group now, so to win both games, if Hampshire can manage it, may not just be enough on its own.
In theory, you could send out a couple of batsmen to be positive at the top of the order, and if you know, even if 3 men got out quickly, then you just start patting it around. And
yeah, but Manus is a big loss, actually, not playing in this game because he's been batting well in this competition. But there's still some work to be done, that's for sure, and a couple of early wickets, and you never know.
Yeah, it's got to be early wickets, then more wickets and more wickets if they're going to put off a miraculous result. Matt Quinn's going to try and instigate that.
So he's still on loan from Essex. I thought, has he extended his loan or something? Was he only signed for a couple of championship matches, but he's obviously still here?
So, yeah, the loan got extended and he's signing a permanent deal next summer. So
is he?
Basically getting him here early and allowing him to be involved in some white ball cricket as well. From the city end, he's bowling. Allsop steering it towards backward point. And there's Harry Finch, I think, doing the fielding. Dot ball to start.
Is he going to play regularly in your side, do you think, come next year? Or you've got Matt Milnes to come back, haven't you? You've got...
I think certainly in red ball cricket.
Klassen.
Red ball cricket, you'd have Milnes, Podmore, Stevens and Quinn, probably as your front line attack.
Yeah.
White ball, like you say, with Klassen coming in, and depends if you have an overseas, maybe mixture of games as it's defended back. Picks it up in his follow through, but we've seen Gilchrist bowl particularly well actually. This year got 5 for the other day. 3 earlier on in the competition, and had some good spells in red ball cricket. So yeah, just assembling a good core group of bowlers who can all offer you different things. Grant Stewart as well. At some point, Darren Stevens has got to give up, hasn't he? So he's at first slip, Leaning's at second slip. Quinn's bowling a short ball, which has been gloved down towards the sight screen for 4 runs. Allsop didn't get hold of it. Managed to just get something on it and deflect it away, and Gordon is up in the circle at short fine leg. So Hampshire fall without loss.
That could have gone anywhere, couldn't it? Firstly, he found the gap between Gordon and the keeper, Robinson.
Yeah, Kent needed that to almost balloon up to somebody for a nice catch to put Hampshire 0 for 1 and under pressure.
Good bounce from Quinn. He's quite tall anyway, isn't he?
Yeah, he does get good bounce actually.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Shown that he's not afraid to bowl a short ball and use the pitch in this competition. That one's cut away off the back foot. That one is too short and wide, and Tom Allsop ought to get 4 runs here. The ball just getting to the boundary rope. The Hampshire batsmen were looking at it thinking that's definitely 4. Then they started scampering, thought it might slow up. Harry Finch had given up on it and then made a last gasp attempt to actually haul it in, and the ball just kissed,
touched.
Yeah, kissed the boundary rope, didn't it?
It looked as though it was going to go way further. It's very slow down there.
Outfield just slowed up by the rain we've had, clearly, as Quinn bowls a fuller delivery and it's defended out towards backward of point. So a couple of boundaries in the opening over from Allsop for Hampshire. Bright yellow pads on, yellow helmet.
Yeah, he'll go after anything with a bit of width outside off stump. That's the way he plays in white ball cricket.
I guess we saw Kent do pretty
Yeah.
similar thing in the power play overs.
Yeah.
Going back to the top of his mark. Fielder's out in the deep, by the way, third man and deep square. It's Quinn again. Oh, another drive, another 4. Unless this is going to be cut off, it will actually be cut off by Nathan Gilchrist running around from third man. It was an uppish drive, kind of a thick outside edge really from Allsop. So he gets a couple, 10 the score from the opening over. And well, at this rate, might be able to hunt this down in under 10 overs. Perfect start, 10 without loss for Hampshire.
Yeah, good start, that's for sure. Had a good competition so far. Tom Allsop, 3 half-centuries in his 4 innings to date. Dave Allen's done some more calculations. He's obviously not that busy writing one-day cricket stuff for Hampshire in the ahead of the quarter-final against Notts, but talking about his points per game, which you guys say, and I've got no reason to doubt that, of course, this group will be decided upon, but they'll still have to play out their matches. Dave Allen's worked out that points per game, if Gloucestershire cannot play again, they will finish with 6 from 6. That's 1 point per match. Obviously, it come to the end, thank you. If Hampshire win, then they will have 7 from 7, so 1 per match. Kent will have 4 points from 7, and that's 0.57. But if Kent win, Hampshire will have 5 from 7, which is 0.7 points per match. Well, Kent will have 6 from 7, 0.86. So Kent will go ahead of Hampshire.
No, don't worry, that's not going to happen.
There we go. Here we go then. Here's Grant Stewart with his right-arm medium paces. That's played out on the onside by Prest. He's immediately off the mark. Hampshire moved to 11 without loss at the start of the second. 24 overs, remember. Maximum.
Yes, so Hampshire would still have that game at Durham.
Yeah.
To try and sneak into the top 3.
Yeah. So will the table look points per game come tonight, or will it wait until the end? I suppose it'll wait till the end.
Yeah, I think it might wait till the end.
Yeah.
From memory, what happened with the T20 for Derbyshire.
Here comes Stewart again, runs away from us. That's a drive from Allsop, and Stewart stops that, but there'll still be a throw that goes in at the far end. Oh, he had to hurry there, Prest. In fact, they've got the stumps off the keeper, Robinson. Direct throw, and he certainly would have gone. And there's that Joe Gordon doing the field.
Yeah, it was Gordon's throw, you're right. It wasn't far away from being a direct hit. Robinson, on the run towards the stumps, grabbed it and took the bails off, but just that fraction of a second that it took Robinson to grab the ball and dislodge the stumps was enough for Prest to get home.
Yeah, had to hurry. Probably got surprised that the throw was going in at the far end. Here's Grant Stewart again, 12 without loss. Bowling to Prest. Bowles. Prest works that into the gap just behind square on the leg side. Comfortable single to him. Moves on to 2. The total on to 13, I think that'll be. Yeah.
Because of course Middlesex are not particularly happy about their game today against Gloucestershire being called off. I saw something, article online saying that they don't feel average points per game is particularly sufficient or appropriate. I don't know.
It's not really fair, is it, really? Because they're in the mix, aren't they, as well? A bit like Hampshire, just about. There's a drive from Allsop only as far as mid-wicket. They're sort of, you know, your Hampshire's, Middlesex, and even Kent, if they win today, it's, you know, it kind of puts you on the fringes of thinking you can qualify, and the points per game thing might actually penalise them.
I'd argue you should have just won more games in the first place.
Yeah, correct.
Which is sounds a bit harsh, but you know, there's teams above you that have got those wins on the board.
Yeah. Here comes Stewart again as well. Also works that away in front of square on the leg side. They might pick up a couple here as it goes out towards deep mid-wicket. Who's that fielding out there? Mieye? No. Mieye is at mid-wicket.
Kadri's out there.
Kadri's out there.
But then again, Hampshire came from absolutely nowhere to get out of the group in the T20 Blast.
Yeah, well that's the thing, isn't it? And that's the argument. That, you know, to actually be steady throughout a group stage is not that easy.
Yeah, it's not just about coming out of the blocks and getting early points on the board.
That debate will rage on and on. That's
Yeah, for sure.
Stuart bowls 15 without loss here. Bowls to Allsop. Also again works that away. A little bit squarer this time, more direct to Quadri, so it's just a jog through single. 16 without loss. And that will be the end of the second over of 24.
Probably go and win the T20 Blast now, Hampshire. Do a bit of an Essex when they Lifted the trophy the other year and was just, again, it was results on the final day of matches in the group that they squeezed through. A couple of teams missed out right at the last, and Essex went on to win the whole thing.
Did, yeah. 2019 that was.
Quinn's going to continue then. 16 for 2 from, or 16 for none from 2. Allsop, just as the wind's getting up again. A little bit of grey cloud over the far side. Beyond, as this one's a dot ball, patted back to the bowler. Beyond some of the apartments away to our left and the manual scoreboards. Not sure that's necessarily going to hit us though. Still fairly blue sky actually overhead here at Beckenham. Funny old day of weather in the north of the county, metropolitan Kent. There's Quinn with the dark sweatband on his left forearm, is in a bowling, and good length, good accurate line as well, and looks up unable to force it away.
It's difficult to get away, isn't it? Bit of extra bounce, short of a length, straight. Got to take a risk if you're looking to find a gap there.
Just stepping away to square leg, and now tapping his toe on the floor. Allsop settling back into his position, considering his options. He'll know that he doesn't need to push too hard here. Situation very much favouring the chasing team. Good toss to win in these kind of conditions. Driven off the back foot and just falling short of Quinn on his follow through. So it was punched straight.
Yeah, it's quite interesting actually, because we had a rain affected game on Friday against Gloucestershire, and yet Kyle Abbott won the toss and decided to bat first, and yet here, rain affected game, won the toss, decided to bowl first.
Yeah.
I think a lot's to do with that. Looks a fairly fresh wicket out there. The Bristol one had been used before.
Okay. Yeah, so bat first on the used wicket.
Yeah.
Kent won at Radley actually in a rain affected game batting first, so sometimes it can work out as this one's clipped around the corner. Mie with a bit of work to do it. Deep square leg will keep it to 2. The key thing in the Middlesex game the other day was Kent just kept taking wickets, and the Duckworth-Lewis score just always kept going up and up, and that put the pressure on, I think.
Yeah.
Whereas in this situation, even a few wickets aren't really going to hurt the run chase. It's just always going to be a struggle for Kent to try and manufacture some pressure with not having enough runs on the board. 18 without loss. 2 more for Allsop, going to 16. He now punches off the back foot wide of mid-off and gets a single. 17 for him, 19 without loss. Hampshire in the 3rd over.
So looking a bit more threatening away to our left.
It's looking a bit more gloomy, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
I think overhead that we're okay, unless Matt Cole can tell me otherwise. The cloud up the back of the gazebo where the weather has been coming from all day.
It'll only be a shower at the very worst, I think.
Quinn in. Is there a glove down the leg side? There is. And Prest is on his way. Can't get their breakthrough. So they desperately need to turn this into some kind of a contest. Quinn gets the applause and the high fives from his teammates. Little glove down the leg side, bit of a strangle through to Robinson. Prest disappointed, but he's on his way. Hampshire 19 for 1.
Yeah, just the extra bit of bounce. Just caught the glove. To Tom Prest, who played quite nicely last Friday. Well, he's at 41. Falls for just 2. Well, the Hampshire top order will stay roughly the same, I would have thought. Gubbins, who's in good form in this competition, walking in now, the former Middlesex left-hander, who's on loan and will be signing for Hampshire permanently come the winter. Joe Weatherly and then Ian Holland, and then the rest of the batsmen, because of Lewis McManus's omission, because of concussion protocol, will start to move up.
It's like he's back playing for his MCU uni side. Nick Gubbins back in a yellow lid. I think the Leeds and
Was he?
the Leeds kit. I think it's got flashes of yellow on it. The Leeds uni, so
Uh-huh.
yeah, seems to have settled in well, though, hasn't he? Gubbins been a bit of a revelation as a signing to come into Hampshire.
Yeah, he's done a great job. Couple of hundreds, including one in this competition. Here's Grant Stewart then, bowls, and that's to Allsop, who plays that into the ground.
Effectively replacing Sam Northeast in a way.
Yeah, yeah, they're very much, the announcements were almost simultaneous,
Yeah.
actually, day after each other, I think, off the top of my head, but yeah, Gubbins just looking to get away, really, and sort of refresh his career. 27 years of age, had a really good season when Middlesex won the championship, didn't he, back in 2016, and I think he just feels that his form had just tailed off a little bit in the last season or two. As Stewart bowls, it's short and it's pulled away by Allsop, but not timed. Well fielded at mid-wicket. There is no run there. And yeah, I mean, he's made an instant impression, really. 100 in the championship. Jack Leaning is at mid-wicket, by the way. 100 in this competition as well. And yeah, he's been well worth the move already. Yeah, you can tell he wants to get involved. Wants to make a name. Full and also drive just wide of mid-off. Gordon Fields, just a single to Allsop, who moves on to 18. That'll be 20 for one here in the fourth over. Remember, we're down to 24 overs. Hampshire looking for a revised target of Kent's of 108. Kent still had 13 balls to bat when they were bowled out for 105.
So is Sam Northeast still a Hampshire player technically?
Technically, he's on loan. Yeah, he was at Yorkshire. I don't know if he's still playing in the Yorkshire side.
No, I just looked that up actually, and he played just a couple of first-class games and one T20, so hasn't played any more for them.
No, I don't know what's going on there. That's a length ball. Gubbins punches that out into the covers, but
Presumably he's out of contract next summer anyway, so would be kind of a free agent going into the winter.
Well, I wasn't sure if he still had another year left on his contract, actually. But yeah, the club and him just moved fairly wide apart, actually, over views, and he had to sort of move on, really. But Yorkshire picked him up, but yeah, it doesn't look as though he's playing very much for them, so I don't know what's going to happen with him, because I don't think he'll be playing for Hampshire ever again. As Stewart bowls, that's a nice drive by Gubbins, but he's picked out Gordon at wideish mid-off there.
It was suggested that, I think somewhere, that someone like Sussex, they got a lot of young, inexperienced batsmen, you maybe stick a Northeast into their batting lineup.
Yeah.
Would add that bit of experience. I know some Kent supporters are a little bit romantic and think maybe he might come back, but I'm not sure that they would go for another, just because I think they got a lot of batting when everyone's available.
Stewart bowls, Gubbins on the back foot. He's going to take a quick single up to Gordon. Gordon doesn't pick it up cleanly at mid-off, and Gubbins looks like he's going to keep the strike, because that's the end of the over. 21 for one, 3 gone. There
would be an irony that...
Do you think he would come back? Do you think there would be a should ask Paul Downton there?
I just think that at the moment with, say, let's say Crawley is available. You got Crawley, Bell Drummond, Denley.
4 gone, by the way. Sorry. Yeah.
Billings, Leaning, Cox, Robinson as well. You just got so much batting that.
You don't think he'd get in?
Like what?
I mean, it's not just getting in; it's a bit more than that, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's about the. And it's about how much you're paying everyone else, and where you're investing your funds. In this sort of a team, yeah, when you're missing so many batsmen, you would get in, but you also got Mayay coming through as well. O'Riordan's batted well. So yeah, I wonder if he may well end up elsewhere. As much as Kent supporters would like to see him back.
Sure.
Was I just seeing Matt make a note that it's actually 107 to win?
Yeah.
So
who got the sums wrong? Not us.
Because originally it was 107 up on the board as the first innings score, but that's now been. I can see that's now been put down to 106. Quinn bowling and outside edge from Gubbins down towards third man for a single.
Yeah, so we should emphasise that it's not actually our mistake, that it's been revised by the person that does the Duckworth-Lewis on the ground, not by us, because we've actually quoted everything that's been told us. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, and it's changed on the board over on the far side, so. Quinn to continue. I think I stole you over there, Kevin. So feel
Oh,
free
have you?
to-
Oh, sorry, my fault. Quinn comes in from that City end and Allsop punches that back. I thought I was doing Stuart.
Maybe, or maybe I didn't know. I've got all confused.
Oh, don't worry.
The score of the situation has confused me. So yeah, it was my end. I'll carry on. Sorry
That's all
about
right.
that.
No problem.
It is indeed now 107 to win. Matt Quinn is bowling from the City end, and I, Ben Watts, am supposed to be commentating. So I'll carry on. Apologies for that. Been a funny old day. Don't feel like we've had much cricket, and yet here we are on the verge of, getting a full game in. Well,
Yeah.
not a full game, half a game in, but a result. Punched away by Allsop, or palmed away by Kadri at cover point, trying to do the fielding. Manages to keep it to 1 in the end. That'll be Allsop to 20. I think, unless it's already changed the scoreboard. Maybe it has 19 up on the scoreboards. I'm going to go with that, seeing as they both say the same thing. 23 for 1, 2 for Gubbins, who's on strike. Still can't going with 2 slips. They've got to be attacking. They've got to go for wickets. Got to go for broke, really. Oh, bowled him. Beauty from Matt Quinn, just gently shaving the stumps. Whether or not that's done anything off the pitch at all, Nick Gubbins outfoxed and his defence beaten. The bails dropping to the floor, and he's on his way, and Hampshire lose their 2nd wicket, and from looking pretty cosy on 19 without loss, suddenly they're 23 for 2.
Yeah, that's another big wicket for Kent. That pressed for 2 now. Nick Gubbins, the man in form, top run scorer for Hampshire in this competition, gone. And no McManus in the side. He's been playing well. The pressure's a little bit on Hampshire now. They have to win this game. Both these sides have to win this game to give themselves any sort of chance going into the last round of fixtures. Hampshire have got a slightly better chance in that they've gone into this game a point ahead of Kent, but even so, neither of these sides want to lose, and I think we could be in for a good game here.
A couple more wickets, and I think so.
Yeah, I think we are.
Joe Weatherly at the moment, the new man, and with him and Allsop at the crease, and Holland still to come. You fancy Hampshire, but if they lose a couple of those men, suddenly you're into all the all-rounders and some of the lesser experienced players.
Well, Joe Weatherly is averaging 26 in this year's competition, top score of 54.
I wouldn't say no to a low-scoring thriller.
No,
Tight finish.
I mean, at the moment, it's on the cards. Somebody's going to have to play well.
Yeah, of course, Kent had 63 on the board before they were 2 down.
Yeah.
Admittedly, they then collapsed somewhat, but just the start that they'll have hoped for as Quinn is in and bowling. Weatherly playing watchfully forward. One time, Kent low knee, but feels like he's grown as a young man, as a cricketer since then.
Yeah, it wasn't it? It was a few years ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was very young and raw at the time. Hadn't really played loads of first-team cricket for Hampshire. But clearly there was something that Kent saw in him that they liked and felt he could add to the team, and since then he's gone about showing that for his home county. Still 2 slips as Queen. Oh, that's close. A shout for LBW. That's hit him on the pad. Oh, the umpire turning it down. There's now a chance for a run out of the far end as Weatherly is called through for a leg by. And well, Kent's fielders certainly seem to think that was close. And Matt Quinn has produced a very handy over there indeed to certainly make this interesting. 5 overs gone of the run chase. Hampshire 24 for 2. Weatherly surviving a big LBW shout.
Stuck on the crease there, wouldn't he? I have to say, maybe the only issue there was height. But even so, I have to say, I was looking at the umpire thinking there's a chance that his finger could go up here. Fortunately, from a Hampshire point of view, it stayed in his pocket. So, good spell from Matt Quinn. He's keeping Kent in this game, that's for sure. 3 overs, 2 for 15 for Quinn. Grant Stewart, 2 overs, none for 8. Stewart's the one that's being replaced. And it's going to be Nathan Gilchrist, who's impressed, isn't he, in this competition?
Absolutely right. 5 for against Middlesex, his first 5-wicket haul for the county in any competition. But as we said at the break, if we'd read it. Plenty to give. I think from his own point of view, when he arrived at Essex, he really came into the county championship with a bang, and had problems with injuries since. And then he wanted to, at this point with Essex, he needs to be bowling week in, week out. But they've got such a strong attack at Chelmsford.